Central Minnesota Sports Hub. It's the Morning Sports Desk, presented by Wadena's Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. Available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, and streaming on YouTube.
It is the Morning Sports Desk, powered by Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena on a Thursday, the 15th of May. I'm CJ Baumgartner. That's Corey Tackman. Corey, local softball, just kind of quickly to touch on our local stuff for today. Kind of due to the weather today, which doesn't look like a ton of games are going to be happening, and then the weather for tomorrow as well. Most of our local softball teams have pretty much ended their regular seasons, and now we can take a look towards the postseason.
Already with games, it looks like, what'd you say, on Monday, Tuesday next week?
Mm-hmm.
Holy buckets. Are you ready?
Ready or not, here it comes. They're wasting no time and getting this thing ready to go. There are games right away on Monday, the 19th, on Tuesday, the 20th, and then, of course, Thursday, the 22nd. All are the scheduled games, of course, weather pending. But it's here we go. Ready or not, here it comes. Just looking across some of the things that we should mention, I guess, as we wrap up our regular season softball coverage. Looking in terms of conference record, Wadena, Deer Creek, and Monaga earn a share of the Park Region Conference in softball this season. Both teams had 12-2 records in the PRC. Now, Monaga faithful will tell you, hey, we swept Wadena in the regular season, Wadena Deer Creek in the regular season series. So, whatever. But I believe it doesn't matter according to the standings. I think it's just straight win-loss. Wadena Deer Creek will say, doesn't matter. Give us that share. Co-conference champions, baby. Congratulations to both teams. And they're going to be fighting in the same section as well. Just two teams that have really been excellent this year.
Really been excellent this year, and they'll be the 3-4 seeds in the section tournament that starts next week. I should mention too, since we're talking about conference champs, I had the opportunity earlier this morning to talk with Parker's Prairie baseball coach Derek Denny, also the principal there, and the Panthers wrapped up another title yesterday. They have one game left on the schedule, but it's the conference is a wrap on the baseball side as well. So congratulations to the Panthers.
Yeah, congratulations to them as well, clinching that Park Region Conference title, which this year more than others hasn't been easy. It's been a lot of parity in the conference. That's kind of brought everybody down into the mud together, and Parker's Prairie able to come away with the win there for the PRC yet again in 2025. Going back to softball, let's take a look at the Heart of Lakes Conference. Holly is the conference champions. They are 12-1 overall in the HOL. DGF was number 2 at 11-2. Park Rapids area 10-6. Breckenridge 9-7. Staples Motley 6-8. So is Frazee. Perham 5-9. Barnesville 5-11. Pelican Rapids 0-12. So there's your little bit of an update there. Trying to take a look over at the Little 8 softball conference. CGB Clinton Graceville Beardsley comes away with that one 10-0 in their conference as well. Looking in some of the other ones, I'm trying to see where we can find some of our other area teams, but that pretty much kind of takes care of
CJ. No Border West in spring sports.
Nope.
For track, I would imagine, right? Track.
I would believe so. Yeah. I'm
a little surprised by that. I'm a little surprised because you need more players to play baseball and softball at one time. I'm surprised that maybe that's coming down the line. I just don't know. I'm just stupidly and naively asking the question. I'm a little surprised it's not a Border West situation there for spring sports.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's interesting. I suppose, with some other sports, it's maybe easier /hard. It's all numbers dependent. So, I'm not sure. But as far as I know, as far as MinnesotaScores.net says, no Border West. It is CGB and Wheaton Herman Norcross. So,
interesting. I mean, you only need 5 to play a basketball game.
Mm-hmm.
And they're combined, and you need double that to play baseball or softball effectively. Just fascinated. I am fascinated always. The other example that I always come to is Uppsala and Swanville and what they do and do not combine for, and it seems random from someone who's outside looking, and I just have no idea, and I'm not really that interested in asking people actually who know, but it always strikes me like, I wonder why this is the case this time around, but it's not the same case over there. I'm just fascinated by that.
Let's be honest, you do want to ask, but you also don't want like a 50-year history of like two different towns and just some of the things that go along with that.
I will be perfectly honest with you. I don't care beyond surface level. I just find it interesting. Do whatever you want. I don't care. It just is fascinating that Uppsala, Swanville area baseball is a thing, but Uppsala and Swanville softball remains separate. I don't know why. I just think it's fascinating that's the case.
And by the way, speaking of the Prairie Conference, Swanville is your conference champions at 7-1. Uppsala 5-3. Osakis 4-4. Browerville Eagle Valley 3-5. Long Prairie Gray Eagle 1-7. So there you go. That's why they both are doing pretty good this year. Swanville is 18-1 overall. Uppsala is 10-8. So
they've had some good athletes in Swanville the last couple of years. I think they might all be seniors now this year too. And
now's the time.
They've been unlucky with some health over the years. So, maybe finally, hopefully for those Bulldog softball faithful, they're just healthy and ready to go.
Yeah. Well, Swanville is in section 6A and they're in the east subsection. I'm waiting for Minnesota Scores to pull up my the page here, but here we go. Section 6A. They right now they're on pace to be the 1 seed. New York Mills, the 2, Parker's Prairie, the 3, Uppsala, the 4, Browerville Eagle Valley, the 5, Frazee 6, Brandon Evansville 7, Long Prairie Gray Eagle 8. On the west subsection, CGB looks to be the 1, West Central area, the 2, Wheaton Herman Norcross, the 3, Hancock, the 4, Rossay, the 5, Pelican Rapids, the 6, Ashby, the 7. So don't need to get into all of this stuff, but they're doing pretty well.
Cool.
All right, Corey, you know what else is pretty cool? The Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena.
Yesterday, Wednesday's double points day at the Pizza Ranch. And it's really simple. You use your ranch rewards and earn 2 times the points on your ranch rewards purchase. Look at that picture, by the way. Look at that.
Scrumptious.
Look at that cookie dessert pizza that they've got.
You're only supposed to eat one. Ideally, I will eat the whole thing.
Who says you're only supposed to eat one?
Like the health department and stuff
Pizza
like
Ranch
that.
doesn't say that. Pizza Ranch says eat all you want. This is a buffet, baby. Earn double points every Wednesday at the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade and have yourself. If you want to be health conscious, only have one slice. But if you care about the Pizza Ranch at all and what they do for you, then one means one whole cookie pie.
Yeah, never specified.
Is that a fair thing to call it, by the way, a cookie pie?
I just call it a cookie.
Or is that just one big cookie that they cut up into?
I was just going to say, it is just one big cookie cut up like a pizza. So it's just a cookie.
Yeah. One cookie waiting for you at the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena.
Your size may vary. All right, Corey, how good does it feel? Your Minnesota Timberwolves are going back to the Western Conference Finals. First back-to-back appearances in franchise history.
Wolves in 5, just as predicted again, CJ. They're a good basketball team. It's fun, isn't it?
It's super good. Wolves back.
I totally recommend, as a fan, watching and taking in and rooting for winning basketball. It's so much better than the alternative.
Yeah, I can't believe in 2014 we're like, it's okay. At least Nikola Pekovic is kind of cool. That's
water buffalo.
Kevin Love gets a double-double every game. That's cool, I guess.
Love Kevin Love. I will never take any Kevin Love slander. That dude is awesome. And in anything that the Timberwolves do, it's it's one of those the fraternity. This is for Patrick Beverly. This is for Kevin Love. This is for KG. This is for Terrell. This is for Steph. This is for J.R. Ryder.
This is for Flip. This is for Malik Sealy. This is for and you just go down the line.
This is for Anthony Tolliver or whatever.
Hey, look at the Minnesota Timberwolves. Glenn Taylor's on his way out the door. They're trying to win this one for Glenn,
Hey, you know what? He can have one. If that means I get one too, he can have it.
Turns out I don't care who gets it as long as I get one. I want it.
I want Glenn Taylor to have a championship because that means I get a championship.
What are we doing? They cut after the game, of course, because Glenn Taylor and his wife sit courtside.
Yeah.
So right after they won the game, they just get to the shot of Chris Finch hugging him and stuff like that.
They corralled him in pretty quick.
Hey, make sure and I'm sure they're so mad. I'm using this in air quotes if you're listening on the podcast. Sure, they're so mad if you're Glenn Taylor that the camera cut to him. But by the way, in the tunnels, A-Rod's like right there dapping everybody up.
Oh yeah, so I mean that's the fun of being the owner, right?
When things are good, you just get to be there.
People have to respect you.
And if you're Tim Conley, you get a lot of respect for putting together this team. He was must be sitting like in front of a box or something like that. He was they showed him and they showed all the things that he's done to put this team together. And who would have thought in like the middle of January, Corey, I saw the Timberwolves lose to the Washington Wizards. Now, Ant didn't play, Julius didn't play. They still should have won that game. If you would have told me right after that the Minnesota Timberwolves were going to go to the Western Conference Finals, I wouldn't have believed you in the moment. But also I'd be like, yeah, this team's talented enough and Anthony Edwards is good and they can this is just a good basketball team. Yeah. And I think the biggest thing in this series was the Warriors were just no contest. And they asked the NBA on TNT panel after the game, they're like, and this is a little bit of phrasing, but they're like, could Golden State have won with a healthy Steph? And Shaq said, well, yeah, they could have won. But if that's just the question, of course Golden State could have won if they had Steph.
Right.
It's not a 0% chance they would have won. But Charles Barkley emphatically, before he even finished the question, went, no. Even with Steph, the Warriors were not winning that series.
I mean, I certainly didn't think so. I'm not the expert.
Those were the betting favorites going in. People act like the Warriors were supposed to come in and win in 5, and Steph completely derailed it. Wolves were supposed to win. Steph Curry gave them no chance once he got hurt.
Well, right, exactly. And you know, it was an interesting series because if you've watched any of the other games in the playoffs, there is a distinct difference in competitiveness level in those games. If you watch Denver Golden or Oklahoma City at all, those games are bananas intense.
Two teams punching each other in the face for 3 hours.
If you watch New York and Boston go at each other, I mean, banana, those are, Indiana, Cleveland was not
quite that. And, and New York, Boston was kind of going that way until the Tatum injury. But even then, Boston still won.
By 30 last night. And I mean, it wasn't that much, but the Timberwolves series was distinctly less competitive and energetic when you would watch it on TV. But this is going to sound stupid. I understand that. But the reason it wasn't competitive, good basketball is because Golden State did not provide competitive, good basketball. I mean this fully complimentary. Was there anything that Golden State didn't execute exactly to their plan in this entire series?
In accordance to their ability, no.
I thought Golden State played really good basketball all series long, and it didn't matter. They scored 100 points in Game 5. I think that was the most. I mean, maybe Game 1 they scored more than that.
Game 1 they probably scored more than that. There was one Game 3. I think they maybe dropped. It was they got to 102 or something like that. It was
just at the end. But I mean, I thought Golden State executed what they needed to do in that series. Turn it into a rock fight, make it feel desperate all the time. They were I thought majority of the games, the more energetic team, but it wasn't a composed because we're younger, because we're more conditioned, because we're ABC, XYZ. It was because they were more desperate. And they were the more desperate team. That I thought they executed great. The zone defense was effective when they needed it to be. And it didn't matter. That was not a good competitive basketball team. It just wasn't. It's not their fault. Steph got hurt. Steph makes them more competitive. But the Timberwolves were just clearly a step above.
And even you watched it yesterday, Golden State, it was noticeable. They tried to push the pace every play. They did not want the Wolves to get set in their defense. They wanted to make sure they could run, so less of a chance Rudy Gobert could just sit underneath the rim. Because as you noticed, Jimmy Butler had wanted no part of going into Rudy Gobert. And overall, they tried to push pace, and I thought they did a good job of it. They got the Wolves going a little too quick. They turned them over a lot, but it didn't matter because the Wolves just
because they're better. They're
Turns
better.
out, You can play worse than the other team and still win because you're better.
CJ, if you and I played 2-on-2 against fourth graders and they were just going like they knew the only way to beat us was just to out endurance us, which would be in play.
That very much in play.
We're just gonna beat them because we're better than them.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of that situation, and like, were they sloppy? Yes, at times they were 100%. That's absolutely the case. But this is 2 playoff series in a row where their clutch time numbers are first or second in the entire playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. In the previous round, they had the most efficient trio in the playoffs. In the second round now, in this Golden State series, they had the most efficient duo in the playoffs. So, like, there are things where, of course, you can look at it and be like, I wasn't happy with their energy, or, man, did they not shoot great at times? Man, did they turn the ball over just a little too much? But then you also look at it and go, no one's more efficient than them. No one's been better in the clutch than them. They are like, I know you want to see somebody put their foot down on the other team's throat and just win. They didn't have to.
Right.
They didn't have to do it. They got boat raced in game 1, and then pretty much it wasn't competitive after that. I don't know what else. I'm excited to see in this next round, whether it's Oklahoma City or Denver, just the ramp up in energy and effort, because that's when the Timberwolves are at their most fun.
And by the way, they're going to go on the road no matter what for those first 2 games. And the Wolves have won 10 road games in the playoffs over the last 2 years. So they're a team that knows how to get ready for a road game too. And yeah, I mean, that's the thing. This Timberwolves team has played great. And I'm not sure if clutch time stats encapsulates just end of half, end of game, or if it encapsulates all end of quarter. But either way, the Wolves, like, if you watch every game, at the end of every quarter, they just go on a little run to end it. In the final 2 minutes, they go on like a 7-2 run every quarter, or something along those lines. They just would finish really well. So anytime Golden State went on a run, the Wolves would just, and then done. Like, they would take care of it. And yeah, like, there's going to be people that are going to question the Wolves, and they're going to question that they couldn't have won the series because they didn't play great when Steph was hurt. 1, they didn't have to, like we've talked about. And 2, like you said, I mean, watch any random game in the NBA on a Tuesday night in January. Just because a team is better than the other doesn't mean it's going to be a 40-point blowout every game. Like, each NBA game is different. How somebody shoots, how somebody plays, all of this stuff. Just because the Wolves didn't win every game by 30 without Steph doesn't mean that they took their opponent lightly. It doesn't mean that they didn't whatever. Like, they won. They won those games. Here's the thing. The Wolves won in 5. And all 4 games where Steph didn't play at all, they won. Pretty easily. They had 1 clunker game, but they still managed to come out and win because they played well in the clutch. And I would take that argument that the Wolves didn't play well in the series if the game had to go to like 6 or 7. If, like, the Wolves played with their food and they lost and they let the Warriors just get an extra one on them, and then even if they went to a game 6, it'd be like, guys, what are we doing? But they didn't. They took care of business. They, by the way, started the game really well. They came out on a run, and midway through the second quarter, like at halftime, the NBA on TNT crew didn't even bother talking about the Warriors. They're like, we got some Jonathan Kuminga highlight, and they're like, stop. Like, you're down by 15 in an elimination game at halftime. We're not talking about you. That's how, don't tell me that this was a competitive series without, or would have been a competitive series without Steph. Don't tell me the Wolves play, like they played well. They did what they needed to do. And by the way, I hear a lot of Lakers fans complaining. They're like, oh, this was such a cakewalk West. This is such a cakewalk West. The Lakers missed their chance. It's a cakewalk West partially because of you. You lost in 5. Like, I don't know what to tell you. So anyway, all of this to say, the Wolves are really good. There was a quote from Chris Finch, and I want to steer the conversation this way. Like, one of his first statements in the post-game presser. Did you hear this, Corey?
No.
He was talking about, they're like, hey, Finch, what does it mean to be back in this spot? And he's like, we told our guys at the beginning of the year, he said, even though, like, it's a different team, we have Julius, we have Dante, there's a few new things. Like, we told our guys at the beginning of the year, last year, were we a Western Conference Finals team, or were we a team that made the Western Conference Finals? It's like, there's a difference. It's like, our goal was to prove that we were the first one and not the second one. And that was just really cool to hear that he's like, sometimes as athletes, you can, even if you're good, even if you do all the right things, you can just have the success kind of happen to you. And he's like, we need to prove that we're a team that can get to the Western Conference Finals and not just a team that 1 year fell into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's the simplicity sometimes that you hear from Chris Finch makes me laugh. Like, that is a very simple breakdown to it. The other night, the quote out of halftime was that he just called them losers, which is such a fourth grade recess thing to say to somebody. Like, yeah, you guys are just playing like a bunch of losers. It's really a funny
Let me put it to you this way. I couldn't imagine when I was in high school, like Dale Fink walking in the locker room, like, you guys are playing like losers right now. I'd be like, what? Yeah,
no, it wouldn't even, like, how would you even kind of
stop that?
Yeah. At it? But also he was like you either you're a Western Conference team or you're a team that, like, we're happy to make it. You're playing like losers or you're not. Like, the simplicity of it, I appreciate some of those quotes that come from him. Yeah, it's fun, man. He's a good coach. The Timberwolves are a good team, and for right now. By the way, the West is not a cakewalk because Minnesota's in it, and Oklahoma City is in it, and Denver is in it, and whoever comes out of
Denver had to beat a really good Clippers team in the first round to get out of there. Like,
yes, Memphis was bad, and
everybody past Memphis,
and the Lakers were bad, and
the Rockets choked.
And the Rockets choked and weren't ready, and Golden and Steph got hurt. Like, yes, all of those things happened, but, like, wouldn't you argue that the trip through the East just got markedly, like, unbelievably easier to do?
Nobody is saying that the New York Knicks were like, yeah, exactly. Nobody's saying like, oh, what a cakewalk, Tatum got hurt. Like, no, like no,
it's good. They're annoyingly going to toot that horn very hard. Wow. New York Knicks team, and they're gonna that'll be a Knicks Pacers. By the way, Pacers second year in a row in a conference finals.
Crazy. Yeah, exactly. It's crazy. And here's the thing about the Minnesota Timberwolves right now is, like, they're playing they are playing well. They're playing really well. Now, maybe some of the end pieces on the bench aren't playing as well as we want them to, but Dante DiVincenzo had a really good game yesterday. He got a few shots to fall, but more importantly, that dude is a menace on defense. On-ball defense, he's a bulldog. He gets after you, created a bunch of turnovers, and look, he dunked. Dante DiVincenzo dunked. It's over for the league now that he's learned how to do that.
Well, and you could even say, like, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who has, for the majority of the playoffs, struggled. Mm-hmm. I have no recollection of how he played last night.
I don't think he really did play a ton of minutes
offensively.
Right.
But he is also being asked to do and play a lot of really important defensive minutes. And I don't know if you know this, whoever they play next, Nickeil Alexander-Walker is going to be asked to play very important defensive minutes. He's going to have to guard Shea. He's going to have to guard Jamal. He's going to have to, like, I know we need that guy to hit 2 open shots a game and not 0, but he's kind of spent this series being out there to have 6 fouls a game.
Right. Yeah.
The Timberwolves have scored enough points without Nickeil Alexander-Walker shooting well.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Make a couple buckets, nah, but also you just keep playing good defense, buddy.
Yep.
DB, you haven't shot the greatest. Keep being a menace on defense. That's it. Yep. That's all you got to do. Please.
Nas Reed, you're going to get picked on a little bit on defense, like the Warriors were actively trying to find him. But make sure
on defense, like one-on-one defense. He's a kind of a black hole.
But make a few threes and have a cool few finishes at the rim like he did yesterday, and it's fine.
Yep.
And the thing about the Wolves is their starting 5, all of them are just playing really, really well. Jaden McDaniels doing Jaden McDaniels things. Rudy Gobert had another good game yesterday. Obviously, we'll talk about Julius and Ant in a second. But Mike Conley, man, he had a game yesterday. That first half, when the team needed it, came right out of the gates, made a few. I think he had like an 8-0 run or a 7-0 run all by himself. Like, he's a guy that I remember in the middle of the season, everybody was yelling at Chris Finch. He needs to be fired. Why is he not playing Rob Dill? Why is he not playing a rookie on a win-now team at the starting point guard spot? Like, everybody was yelling about that. Mike Conley, man, like,
he's really good. And like the anytime you get any extra offense out of him, it's awesome. It's also, that's not why he's there.
Mm-hmm.
He is like the composure of, I get point guard is kind of a fluid position within the course of the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's just whoever gets the outlet, or sometimes whoever gets the rebound is the person who brings it up. That's fine. But when the ball is in his hands, a good decision is going to be made. The calming effect of just having him on the floor, it matters a lot. Like if Ant brings the ball down and he turns the ball over in 2 straight possessions, Connolly is bringing the ball down the next time down the floor, every single time. It's just, there's no doubt about the even keeledness. Is that a word? I don't know. He centers them, I think.
I can't.
And defensively, he's a weak spot, but you can put him kind of on whoever, and he'll hold up,
He'll hold up, and every once in a while he'll like get a poke away. We're like, oh, all right, there we go. Yeah, I mean, like, it's the mind is there, the instincts are there. It's just the quickness is gone because he's like 38 years old.
Right.
He is like he is still balling. It's still really cool. There was a really cool quote from Rudy talking about like, hey, we want to win this for Mike. We want to get him like his championship. And then also he talked about Joe Ingles, which was also really funny because he's been on the bench this whole time. But I mean, here's the big thing we need to talk about. The Wolves aren't playing this well. Anthony Edwards has had good games. He's been Anthony Edwards. I think expectations for what we expected out of him have pretty much been met. But the reason the Wolves are considered as lethal as they are has been because of Julius Randle. And there might not be a better player in the playoffs right now than Julius Randle. The entire NBA.
He's one of them. What did he have? He had a 29, 8 and 5 in the closeout Game 5 victory. He has been, offensively speaking, the most well-rounded, consistent player for the Timberwolves. We use the phrases all the time, right? High ceiling, high floor, low floor, whatever. The floor of Julius Randle has been mere inches below the ceiling of Julius Randle. Ant has the highest floor. He has the most splashy moments. He has the highest point. Like he's the guy who can score 46.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that anybody else on the team. I mean, like, I understand other guys have that capability, but like, it'll be an Ant who and he finishes the game with 37 points and the Timberwolves win. Like that's going to be the Ant numbers. And I do want to talk about Ant in just a little bit, but Julius, this 29, 8 and 5 is like, that's what he did all series long. That's what he did all for 10 games now. That's roughly what he's averaging. It's insane. It's insane what he's doing. And it's as big of a reason, if not the most important reason why the Timberwolves are winning.
Exactly. And the thing about Randall is, have you ever seen a player? I know I mentioned this earlier, but I just got to say it again. Have you ever seen a player get traded to a team, be bad, have the fan base turn on him, and then have the fan base turn right back around and get behind him? I think we were pretty good on the show, and I've said this before, but we've been pretty good on the show. When the Julius Randle experiment was not working, we were like, hey, this is bad, but we got to give it time. Like, we're not going to we didn't say it was going to be this good. We weren't saying that, but we were saying let's not rag on it. Like, let's let this process play out a little more before we make a judgment. But have you ever seen a player go from the fan base can't stand that guy to the fan base can't get enough of that guy this quickly for Julius Randle?
Yeah, it was a really quick turnaround. And, the thing, I think people were sad too about
I think
Carl.
it's a lot. Yeah.
So,
the same thing, remember the Luis Ariz trade, Pablo Lopez pitched good, but it took so long for the fan base to accept him because it was, we traded Ariz for you. You better be getting 7 shutout innings and 10 strikeouts every appearance.
Yeah, your aunt divorced your favorite uncle and remarried, and now you have to call this guy your I don't know.
I'm not calling him uncle.
He's not. He's whatever. And now he's Uncle Julius. He's family, you know what I mean? He's got a special recipe he brings to family function. It's like his world famous potato salad. He's just in the family.
Mm-hmm.
But he needed to show up with his potato salad consistently for a couple holidays.
He had to go 30-6 in the last 36 games. And it's like, oh my gosh, this guy's awesome. He needed to like reveal he's got like season tickets to somewhere. And you're like, oh, and he like lets you go with him every once in a while.
Right.
Like, this guy's awesome. Julius Randle. I mean, the Wolves are 30-6 in their last 36 games with Julius Randle. He's gone from a player where, and I know we've talked about this before, but he's going to go from a player where it's like he's going to pick up his option and the Wolves are going to have to decide, like, do they want to keep him? Or are they going to get rid of him? To like, he's by July 15th, we're probably going to be like, Julius Randle's got like a 5-year extension.
I mean, maybe.
Or the point is like he's going to get like an extent. He's going to opt in and get an extension.
He's going to opt in, and he has earned every dollar. He's earned every dollar that is coming his way.
It's been a fun thing with him and Ant because again, Karl Anthony Towns is great, and I'm not like this isn't trying to say we didn't need Cat, whatever. I think everybody's fully appreciative of what Cat has done, but Julius Randle he can play down at the rim. He can't shoot as Karl Anthony Towns is a consistently better 3-point shooter. But what Julius Randle does better than Karl Anthony Towns is he can go down on the block and bully you and get you when it's somebody one-on-one with him, you just know he's going to back you down 1, 2, 3, drop step, boom, 2 points every single time. He's a better finisher than Karl Anthony Towns because Towns, when he goes to the cup, he's just too long for his body and he's out of control and he commits a foul, right or wrongly. He's going to get called for one. And there's just something that Julius Randle's a little bit better. He's a little bit, Cat's a facilitator, but more on the kick and drive. Randle is a little bit better at. Like, it's not that I'm not trying to say that Randle is a better player than Cat. That's not like the argument I'm trying to make. But in terms of fit with this team currently constructed, Randle's just has been a much better fit than Karl Anthony Towns was.
Well, and the reason why is because he plays better defense.
Yeah.
And we didn't know, and we're pretty certain, most people, that he was not a better defender.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, he was a lazy defender. And it
didn't help that early in his Minnesota tenure, obviously trying to get used to everybody, there'd be so many highlights or lowlights of him like having a guy run right behind him and he has no idea. And a guy gets an easy 2. And yeah, it's just a matter of like he's better.
The reason he's not as good of an offensive player as Karl. He is and has been a more effective defender than Karl Anthony Towns was in these 2 series so far. Now, we know what's coming, right? We know it's either Oklahoma City or Denver, and both of those teams provide something that Karl was an expert fit for. Right. Mm-hmm. And being able to guard Jokic and having that other big body. How is Julius going to, like, Julius is probably going to have to guard Jokic if that's what that matchup is from time to time, or chase Aaron Gordon around, which is not probably in the Timberwolves' favor, or he's going to have to guard and be guarded by Chet in against OKC. That's a tough matchup. But in 2 playoff series and 10 playoff games, offensively, he's averaging 23.9, 5.9, and 5.9 points, rebounds, and assists per game. And what he's doing then defensively and holding his ground to being downright good is providing more to this team than Karl ever did.
Yeah, exactly. I know you want to say some stuff about Ant. Floor is yours.
He had 12 assists, I think, in the game last night. And I can't express how important that sort of like maturity is. I don't like the turnovers. Nobody does. We already talked about that. These games get weird. I don't need to rehash that aspect of sometimes games are not competitive because the opposition is not competitive.
Right.
So that being said, when the whole world, being Golden State, when the whole world is out to stop you from doing what you are trying to do, and you have the ability to just facilitate for everybody else to the tune of 12 assists, which is at minimum 24 points for your team, at maximum 36 points for your team. I don't know what else that guy could have possibly done in that game to be impressive. Yes, the turnovers are not fun. I hate that I have to disclaimer this because somebody is going to feel like they need to call that out. He let these double teams, he's patient. He lets these double teams come. He tries to kick it to the open guy. Maybe he wasn't reading the defense always that well, but he had 12 assists, CJ. I'm just so I continue to be impressed by. He was not a three-point shooter. He's now a three-point shooter. He was not a playmaker. He is a playmaker for his teammates now. To the tune of 24 more points. How many points did he end up scoring in the game?
He ended up, I think, with 20 plus.
He had 22 points. So he was responsible for 48 of his team's points at minimum.
Mm-hmm.
What more do you want from a guy?
Some of those lobs to Jaden, though, pure euphoria.
You want him to not do anything else well and just score 36? I mean, that would have.
Well, that's the thing. Some people out there are like, well, Ant's not having a good game. Is Ant even that good of a player right now? Like, he was facilitating yesterday. Like, other guys, Julius Randle and Mike Conley were having big games early on. Like, there's a point sometimes being a good player is understanding hey, let's ride that hot hand because he's shooting well. And in the fourth quarter, when he cools off a little bit, I'll still be ready to score.
Basketball is more than just getting buckets. That is obviously probably the biggest point of it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not a one-on-one sport. It's a 5-on-5 sport, and it's extending your role and allowing people to flourish in those roles. And Ant was allowing his teammates to flourish in their roles to the tune of 12 assists.
By the way, 6 different Wolves had double figures last night. And a big reason why is Anthony Edwards.
A big reason why is Anthony Edwards. I can't believe we get to watch him.
Here's the thing. I can't believe we get to watch a player like Anthony Edwards. I can't believe that we've seen development from so many different players. Jaden McDaniels. You can talk about Naz Reid. You can talk about some of these other guys that have developed and are continuing to develop, by the way. But you could see it from where they were 3 years ago to where they are now. From when they made when they lost in 6 to Memphis in 2022 to getting gentlemen swept against Denver to you could see the growth. They're getting better. They're getting more mature. They're all of this. And that doesn't always happen. As somebody who watches the Twins and you see constant prospect after prospect never quite make that leap. You need to appreciate when it happens, because the fact that it doesn't happen sometimes it isn't always by failure of an organization. Sometimes it's just, you got to be a top 1% of the 1%, and that's not for everybody. And the fact that the Wolves have a top 1% of the 1% guy in Edwards, and you also have Rudy Gobert and Julius Randle as key vets. You also have Jaden McDaniels, Naz Reid, some of these other guys who are developing and continue to develop. Are they flawed? Of course. Do they have issues? Every team does. Yes. Are they going to win the finals? I can't guarantee that. But it's the Minnesota Timberwolves that are doing all this. They are good for we are in the golden age of Minnesota Timberwolves basketball. Do not take this for granted. I will never take this stretch for granted. And in 10 years or 5 years or 2 years, whenever they fall apart and got to go back to being a tanking, Midwestern market team again, just don't take this for granted, because it'll happen at some point. But just the Wolves are good, and I will never apologize for the Wolves winning a playoff series.
I fall a little more in basketball love with Jaden McDaniels every game.
Mm-hmm.
I just like his game so much. And I'm the kind of guy, CJ, who my favorite players on teams are always the understated, with a few exceptions. When I was a kid, it was Kirby Puckett. That's who it needs to be. And and Kevin Garnett and things like that. And Anthony Edwards is my favorite player on this team. It'd be ridiculous to pick anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
I get the Naz Reid love, whatever. But the Jaden McDaniels type of player, like Memphis, I don't know how you can't love Desmond Bane.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I don't know how you can't love what that guy does night in, night out. I just love that. And what Jaden McDaniels does night in and night out, and how he plays defense, and he just he's just super fluid and a smooth basketball player. Just kind of knocks down buckets here, and he has been. He's got a sweet little Euro floater in the lane. that seems to go I just trust it completely. Like that's just a cool go-to shot. He has been, we talk about Julius's consistency. Ant has been a little up and down offensively, at least as far as scoring goes. But Jaden has been right. If Julius wasn't doing what Julius was doing, we'd all be talking about what Jaden is doing through 10 games of this playoffs. I just like his game more and more and more each and every single time I watch him play.
There's a reason why the Minnesota Timberwolves gave up 4 first-round draft picks for Rudy Gobert plus players, because the Wolves could have gotten less draft picks because the Utah Jazz wanted Jaden McDaniels, and the Timberwolves told them no. And he wasn't the player he is now. Like he was, you could see it, but it wasn't there consistently. They're like, no, we are not giving up Jaden McDaniels. We will give you future first-round draft capital, because no player we draft can be as good as Jaden McDaniels will be for us right now. And there's a reason why, should the Wolves go get Kevin Durant? No, because you are going to have to trade Jaden McDaniels. And also now Julius Randle's playing so well. Why would you need, it's a little bit of that, that conversation has weirdly gone out the door, because why, any trade to get another player, Jaden McDaniels is always going to be talked about. And the Wolves are refusing left and right in any trade talks to get rid of Jaden McDaniels. And you see why. The easy, the thing that everybody always joked about, with him and Edwards over the last 5 years is Ant is MJ and McDaniels is what Pippen was to MJ. And that's the dynamic they have. And it's obviously not a 1-to-1, but it's kind of similar.
Well, and that's one of the reasons why he is so effective, is because the fit it's an efficient basketball fit. Scottie Pippen went to Portland and was a damn fine player in Portland. And when Michael Jordan retired, Scottie Pippen was the top scorer, and then Scottie Pippen's an awesome basketball player. But when those when your responsibilities change and different, why is Jonathan Kuminga going crazy on offense? Because somebody has to score on that terrible Golden State offensive team right now. That guy was not playing basketball for them literally a series ago. They benched him and Steph got hurt, and they needed anybody to score, and that guy was able to do that. Somebody's got to do it. So Jaden in another spot, is he maybe a number 1 player on a team? Yeah, maybe, but is that team going to be awesome? And is his defense going to be as good as it has been? I don't know. He's just such a solid, efficient basketball fit to have those two guys together.
Here's one last thing, and then we'll talk Twins quickly, and then we got to pick the Vikings schedule. But just one last note to end this series on. In the Warriors' final 2 games of the season, Jimmy Butler attempted, remember Jimmy Butler, the guy they traded, the guy who's going to put them over the top, Jimmy Butler. He attempted just a total of 20 shots in 76 minutes and was a team worst -47 plus minus.
He is really bad. I have nothing that he does.
He wanted no part of the Wolves defense. He's a guy that likes to cut to the rim. He's not an outside shooter. He's a guy that just wants to cut to the rim and make play that way. And he wanted no part of going up against Rudy Gobert.
What's the opposite of giving a player their flowers? I got nothing to say.
Their manure, I guess. I don't know.
I got nothing to say about Jimmy. I got nothing to say about him.
It's there were a small chance of you need us to Jimmy Butler yesterday at Target Center. So there's a reason why if you didn't bite on the pump fake, he would just pass it immediately. There's a reason. Yep. He couldn't do it. And is it a little absurd to pick on an old man like that? Probably. But you know what? Sports, you got to have the sports hate. There needs to be constant booing when Jimmy Butler grabs the basketball. Otherwise, what's the point of being a sports fan if you can't sports hate somebody? So, Draymond Green also acknowledged in his post-game press conference the Wolves are capable of winning a championship, and he acknowledged Rudy Gobert's a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. So it's just a little just take that victory. And anyway,
I nothing any of those guys say is anything I will ever listen to. I don't care what he said. I don't care. Just because he said it, now it's true.
Oh no, it's not that. It's just the fact that he had to say it. It's like a part of him died inside.
Doesn't matter. Shut your mouth and leave. Go back to San Francisco. Bye.
Go to Cancun. And Ant, by the way, now is getting the reputation of legend killer.
Yep.
Which is fun. All right. Let's talk a little Minnesota Twins. This is crazy. The Wolves are so good. We've kind of forgotten the fact that the Minnesota Twins have won 10 games in a row.
Swept a doubleheader yesterday.
One was a come from behind win where they were down fourth. I think it was 4-3, or maybe it was they were down 4-5, something along those lines. 5-6, 1-run game late. And in comes the man, the myth, the legend, Kody Clemens. Jumps on the first pitch, changeup, hits no doubter to the walkway above the out-of-town scoreboard in right field at Camden Yards, and he puts the Twins up, and the Twins go on to win 8-7 and sweep the doubleheader. Kody Clemens' second home run with the Twins. His other home run got the winning streak started back on May 3rd when he hit a 3-run homer at Fenway Park, and of course they cut to his mom and dad in the box watching him at the game. But how far are we away from Kody Clemens reaching cult Twins icon?
A long ways. No offense, Kody. A long ways. We need a season out of this at least.
Yeah,
games a legend does not make.
He's got the mythical status. He started the win streak
in May, I should say. If you do it in October, then straight to the top of the list. But
if you do it when the Twins play Cleveland on September 20th to clinch the division.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, the Twins are playing really well. Kody Clemens had to come into the game because Ty France left with, I believe they said it was a groin injury. And so Harrison Bader left with a groin injury in the second game. That's what, great. And then the Twins were, he came in for France, Dave Clemens. He's not a first baseman because there were a couple picks he clearly could not handle. That Ty France, who's not a great defensive first baseman, at least league average, would have been okay with. Anyway, the Twins' first base options after France get a little wonky, so it'll be interesting to see how they play that. But Twins get 10 wins in a row. They try and go for 13. If you're listening to this podcast, you probably already know the Twins are going to throw first pitch about 35 minutes from as I'm talking as of this recording. But they've won 10 games in a row. Now, 4 of the teams in the American League, 4 of the 6 teams with the best record in the American League are from the AL Central.
Yeah, it's crazy. And they're doing it, by the way, by not sometimes you go on winning streaks because you go on an absolute heater.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know that you would call what the Twins are doing an absolute heater. They're just playing really solid front to finish 9-inning baseball offensive. This is like in football, they talk about the 3 phases.
Uh-huh.
This is the baseball equivalent of being good in all 3 phases. That's the opponents have been down, haven't been very good, which is also helpful. But they're just playing competitive baseball.
Uh-huh. By the way, the Detroit Tigers have the best record in baseball at 29-15.
Shout out to them.
The Cleveland Guardians 25-18, Royals 25-20, Twins 23-20. Twins have won 10-0 in their last 10 games, and they've gained 2 games in the standings.
2 games. Yep.
That's
like you said, 4 of the 6 best records in the American League are in the Central.
Uh-huh.
Everyone else has been winning in this time too. Yeah. Everybody's fan base is the division is ours.
Mm-hmm. Get
this division, except for Chicago.
If the Twins were in the American League West, they would be a half game out of first.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, Twins, go Twins, though. Simeon Woods-Richardson was demoted to AAA.
Bye.
Cody Funderburk is going to stay as a reliever because you got the extra pitcher for a doubleheader like you get. And the Twins basically Simeon Woods-Richardson's going down. And Cody Funderburk is going to stay. So the Twins currently have 4 starting pitchers because why would you send down a reliever and call up a starter when they're not going to pitch for another 4 days? They're going to wait 3 days until Simeon Woods-Richardson's spot in the rotation comes up. And then they are going to recall probably David Festa, most likely.
Sure.
Spot in the rotation. Him and Zebby Matthews have just been dominating AAA, by the way, in an offensive league in the independent league, dominating. So they've been doing pretty well down there, and they've earned the spot.
Yeah, there's a few guys, the pitchers, and then I don't know his name, the the one hitter. They got a big left-handed bat who's just mashing right now.
Gusker.
Yeah. Who's just going crazy right now on offense too. So no, this is like, it's fun to watch them play good competitive baseball. The starters are good. The relievers are good. The offense is good. The defense is good. They're just everything is just good, solid baseball. And I think that is more comforting than watching a team go on an absolute heater, because heaters cool down. Heaters,
they die out pretty quickly.
Exactly. You're a shooting star. Like, it's just going to disappear. But just playing good, solid baseball means you're being are they just going to win the rest of the games, the rest of the season? No, of course not. That's not how this works. But it means that if they lose, it's because the other team just out executed a team that was executing well. You know what I mean?
Right.
This is I prefer this type of baseball, and then getting the W's on top of it too. Okay, cool. You were hot for 2 weeks. Now what?
Right. Exactly.
Not anything if you go cold for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
This is the kind of baseball that sustains. This is a sustaining form of baseball that they're playing.
All right, let's quickly go through the Minnesota Vikings schedule. It was released yesterday. I know we've kind of had a chance to look at it offhand here, but we're just going to blindly go week by week, and we'll see where we're at. So,
okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, week 1, Monday night, 7:15 kickoff, ESPN, ABC, Joe Buck, Troy Aikman are in Chicago. Vikings at Bears. Week 1, Soldier Field. How you feeling about that one?
CJ, I want to be very clear. I am all in on the Vikings. I am all in. I think everything they did in this offseason was exactly what this team needed to do. It's Monday Night Football on the road at Chicago to start the season. Nobody believes in their team more than Chicago Bears fans are going to believe in their team coming in. They start the year 0-1.
All right, I'm gonna say they win this game, because I think the Ben Johnson era, while it will be good, I think week 1 they're still they got some things to work out. They're not quite going to be in sync yet, and the Vikings will just be able to kind of jump them before they get going. So that's my thought. Vikings, I have as trying to find my paper here. I have the Vikings as 1-0 through the first one. I got the win there. All right, week 2, Sunday Night Football, US Bank Stadium, home opener. It will be JJ McCarthy versus Michael Penix and the Atlanta Falcons.
Now, everything I said about the Bears and their fans being ramped up, ready to rock and roll, it's going to be raucous. It's hard. It's a hard place to win anyway. Now that's true about the Vikings. Vikings win week 2. They're 1-1.
All right. So we have the Vikings there at 1-1. I'm going to say that they win. I just think the Vikings are a better roster. And it'll be fun to kind of see two players that I really wanted the Vikings draft Penix. The Falcons took him before the Vikings had a chance. So it'll be really interesting to see these two quarterbacks go at it. So there we go. Week 3, noon kickoff at home against the Cincinnati Bengals.
If this game was in Cincinnati, I'd probably pick Cincinnati. It's Joe Burrow. It's Jamar Chase. That's a nice football team. It's in Minnesota. Vikings win 2-1.
I think the offense of the Cincinnati Bengals is really good. Obviously, Joe Burrow is better than JJ McCarthy. Justin Jefferson has an edge over Jamar Chase, but he's still very, very good. But the defense of the Cincinnati Bengals is so bad.
They no longer have T. Higgins, correct?
I think they franchise tagged T. Higgins.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, I think
that's a good football team. And again, if it's in Cincinnati, I feel differently, but it's not. It's in Minnesota.
I trust the defense of the Vikings way more than I trust the defense of the Bengals. So I think that's kind of what I tip the edge to in that one. I have the Vikings right now 3-0.
Okay.
The year.
Nice.
All right, here we go to double in on Sunday, the September 28th, 8:30 a.m. kickoff. I hate those. As a fan, I'm not ready to watch a football game at 8:30 in the morning. I'm not. Quit doing this, NFL. But here it is. Steelers in Dublin. What do we think?
Who's the quarterback in Pittsburgh?
Right now it is Mason Rudolph.
3-1. Vikings win.
Yeah. I got the Vikings winning in this one. Even with, let me put it this way, even if Aaron Rodgers joins that team, the Vikings are still winning that game. The fact that the Vikings don't have to go to Heinz Field is a victory in and of itself.
The defense in Pittsburgh is awesome.
Right.
Does this team have the receivers? No, because they got rid of Pickens, right?
They have DK Metcalf.
They brought in DK.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they're the whatever. That Pittsburgh team should be nice. I don't.
It's going to be like a meat grinder, but I think the Vikings will come away with it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, then they go to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Nice. And
play the Cleveland Browns in London the next week. Once again, an 8:30 kickoff. NFL, quit doing this.
Who's Cleveland's quarterback?
It's some combination of Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, and Shadur Sanders.
4-1.
Yeah, I got the Vikings winning this one. I have them starting the season 5-0, going into a bye in week 6.
This is the only thing I don't like about the schedule. I would prefer a bye week past the midway point.
Uh-huh. Instead, they get a bye week because they were an international play for 2 weeks in a row. So, you get a week to kind of.
I get it, but that's
right.
The only thing I don't like about it.
Yep. All right. Philadelphia Eagles, a noon kickoff at US Bank Stadium. I got that one as a loss.
Philadelphia is awesome. I'm trying to talk myself into wins where I can. And this is one, remember, Philadelphia did not start last season off on a very good.
They were 2-2 to start the year. Yeah.
And after being very good the year before, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they kind of things started to ramp up, and turns out they were very good again last year. But I think this is going to be one of the, there is a chance where we're talking about Philadelphia here is oh man, they've really come down here a little bit. Just because they don't, how can you take it that seriously for that many weeks in a row?
The Super Bowl hangover, yeah.
Seasons. So I'm gonna pick the Vikings here for that reason, knowing full well that I just had to give 6 different ifs for this Vikings to be able to win this one.
The fact that it's in Minneapolis and not Philadelphia is a big thing, but
yep.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. And by the time we get to week 7, who knows what injuries have mounted and things like that. But I'll give the Super Bowl champs their props here. So, And by the way, this week 7 begins a really tough stretch for the Vikings here.
Yes, it does.
Week 8, the Vikings Thursday Night Football. Thanks, NFL. We play 2 international games for you. And our reward is a Thursday night game in Los Angeles.
Yeah, you're really bent out of shape on these international games thing.
I hate international games for my favorite football team. It's a complete waste of time. I think the Vikings lose this one. I think Justin Herbert plays really well. I think the Vikings traveling on the West Coast for a Thursday night game never works out for them. I go L.
This is why I don't like it. It's because it's after Philadelphia.
Right.
More than anything. If this was Cleveland there, Vikings fans go to LA. That is a home game for the Vikings, even if it is on the road. But that's when it's on the weekend. It's a Thursday night. It's at that's just going to be one of those games where it's going to be at 3/4 capacity. There's just not going to be anybody at that game. The Chargers are a nice football team. This is a schedule loss.
Yep. I think so. More than anything. Although JJ McCarthy against his college coach on primetime will be a fun angle. So get ready for a lot of talk about that.
But I don't know if it means anything.
And then we'll get a lot of, remember when the Vikings almost hired Harbaugh?
Yeah.
That'll happen. All right. Here's another tough thing on the schedule. The Vikings will get a long rest to go to Detroit on November 2nd in week 9 for a noon kickoff on Fox.
I think if anybody is going to have a little come to Jesus season in the division, it's probably Detroit. But they're still really good.
Mm-hmm.
This is in Detroit. This is a loss.
Yeah, I have a loss. I have the Vikings starting 5-0 and then losing 3 straight. Just going to Detroit. The fact that it's in Detroit, got to give them that one. Yep. All right. And then no rest for the Vikings. They come back to a noon kickoff week 10 against Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens.
Win.
I guess it's a win.
Team is completely and utterly and totally set up to handle what Lamar does.
Yep.
They've got the linebackers, they've got the ends, they've got the athletes, they have the infrastructure to. Remember when the Vikings had Anthony Barr?
Yep.
Like when Vikings had Anthony Barr, he was the difference maker, I thought, on those defenses, dealing with your Reggie Bushes and your scrambling quarterbacks like that. This Vikings team is a whole team made up of Anthony Barr, get on the edge, protect things, whatever. Vikings beat Baltimore here.
Yep, I have that too. Chicago Bears, noon kickoff, US Bank Stadium. I got to win here.
Win.
All right, moving to at Green Bay, noon kickoff, week 12, Thanksgiving week, roughly. It's got to be by that point. Or like the week before, the week prior to, whatever, doesn't matter. At Green Bay, I always assume we split with the Packers. I got a loss.
Yeah, at Green Bay, that's just you just put it down as an L. I think Green Bay is going to be nice. They're really excited about that draft pick that they have. I also just know that, Christian Watson's going to be dead. Jordan Love's going to probably dead. But it's in Green Bay. You just put it down as an L.
Yep.
That's just how it goes.
All right. Week 13.
4 losses is what I have.
Week 13, 3:05 kickoff. Sam Darnold revenge game. The Vikings go to Seattle. I have a win.
98th year in a row, the Vikings go to Seattle for some reason. That's a win.
Win. All right, this should be a fun one. Speaking of JJ McCarthy versus his other draft class quarterbacks, week 14, US Bank Stadium, Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders versus JJ McCarthy.
Washington's really fun. They had an unbelievable last season. It's usually never as easy the second year. And the learning curve doesn't happen in the first year. The learning curve happens in the second year.
Teams have a whole year of film.
It's at home. The Vikings are good. Vikings win.
I have the Vikings winning here as well. So to count, I have the Vikings right now at 9-4 heading into the home stretch.
Same, 4 losses.
At Dallas Cowboys, Sunday Night Football. Don't know why this game is in prime time. They just love the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. But Vikings, NBC, Dallas, I got to win.
Whoever you mean by they, when you say they love Dallas, I counter with, I will pick the Vikings to beat Dallas every single time.
By they, I mean the TV networks that want Dallas on primetime all the time.
Unless Cooper Rush is starting for Dallas.
Which could happen.
On 18 hours notice. I will pick the Vikings again here.
At New York Giants, I got to win.
Win.
Yep. All right. 2 games left. Detroit, Christmas Day, Netflix, 3:30 kickoff at US Bank Stadium. What are we thinking?
Win.
Wow, look at us. We are feeling it here. Green Bay Packers at home. Win. All right. Well, according to my predictions here, I have the Vikings at 13-4.
The only difference we have is I had them losing week 1 to Chicago. You had them winning week 1 in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had 3 losses in the middle of the season.
Yep.
I only had 2 there.
Yeah, I think that middle stretch is really going to be telling for how the season goes. Philadelphia at LA, at Detroit, hosting Baltimore. Like that 4-game stretch, if the Vikings go 2-2 in their first 5 games that they go 3-2, it's going to be a little rocky in that stretch. If they go 4-1, 5-0, then it doesn't really matter as long as they just don't lose all of them. That they should probably hang on and still make the playoffs. So, geez, what 14 and
13-4.
13-4 is our predictions for the Minnesota Vikings. Surely this will not be clipped.
Skull, baby, skull.
Oh, let's do it. Here we go. I think that's it. Got anything else? Long sports test today, but plenty of cool Minnesota sports stuff happening, so I'll take it. See you later.
Powered by Wadena's Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. Follow the Morning Sports Desk on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And watch every show on YouTube.